All right, welcome back. Former Republican governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, says he is disgusted because most of the candidates during last week's Republican presidential debate said they would still support Donald Trump even if he is convicted of criminal charges. Hogan is the co-chairman of the nonpartisan group No Labels that may or may not support a third-party presidential candidate in 2024. And he joins us now. So there you go. Disgusted?
Well, I was disgusted. That was a response to a question about when they all raised their hands. It wasn't. It was the fact that they said even if he was convicted of a felony, that they would still support him for president. And I just happen to believe, everybody's entitled. He's innocent until proven guilty. There's no question there's been some overzealous prosecution. I understand all the concerns, but if he's found guilty of felonies, in most states you can't even vote or serve on a jury. You certainly don't get to sit in the White House. And I just thought that was a mistake. And I was, as a lifelong Republican, a guy that came up through Reagan, I just didn't understand how somebody could make that commitment without even hearing the trial or the evidence or knowing what he was convicted of.
Fair enough. I guess the flip side of that would be as if the founders, in their infinite wisdom, had felt as though a felony conviction was disqualifying, they would have put it in the Constitution.
Well, that's true. I go back to my dad was the first Republican on the House Judiciary Committee during the impeachment of Nixon to come out. And he wasn't convicted of a felony, but he left the presidency.
No, that's fair enough. I think about what you're trying to do at No Labels. Current ballot access, Alaska, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Arkansas. Nowhere close to, if you win all of them, 270.
Sure.
Number one. And number two, realistically speaking, only a couple of them, even with an option, realistically, to pick up any kind of wins in. What, I guess, North Carolina and Florida, although that's not on our map. So there you go. A couple of extras that got added since this map. What is the game plan here?
Well, first of all, it's not my game plan. I'm an honorary co-chair, and I've been involved.
Well, your name's attached to it. So,
I've been involved in the group for about 3 years. It really had nothing to do with this particular effort. It's been around for 13 years, and what the organization is really focused about is trying to get things done and get people to reach across the aisle and come up with common sense solutions. There's a big hunger for that. I mean, there are people all across the country that are frustrated with both parties, that they feel that Washington is broken, and polls overwhelmingly show that people are interested in the possibility. This is not something that's they've decided on, but it's in case of emergency, break glass insurance policy to say maybe we have to, depending on where we are next spring, provide a third option, because a vast majority of people in America, nearly 2/3, do not want Joe Biden or Donald Trump to be president.
I think it's more than 2/3.
Yeah.
I mean,
About 70%.
As we said back in the Middle East, I have two choices, both of which are bitter.
Yeah.
That's
the way a lot of people feel right now about this election.
No, the saying fits. But GOP RCP latest average: Donald Trump 54%, Ron DeSantis 13%, Vivek Ramaswamy 8%. None of them seem to be chipping away at Donald Trump's formidable lead, even in the polling after the Georgia indictment. Very little's learned in the second kick of a mule. It doesn't seem as though there's anything really that's going to shake Trump's lead. You say if in event of emergency, break glass on and on and on. What could change between now and then that would be so materially changing of an emergency nature that could happen between now and then that?
It's a great question. I mean, look, 8 months is an eternity in politics, and that's when they're talking about the possibility of doing this after Super Tuesday, sometime in April, after we really know the results of who the two nominees are. At this point in time, I'm really still focused on, I'm hopeful that we can find someone other than Donald Trump to rise up in the Republican Party to become the nominee, because I'm tired of losing. And I'm a guy who's been focused on winning in tough places to win and winning over, swing voters in a Democratic state.
Look, you won in Maryland, in a very, very blue state, one of the few Republicans to do it, won re-election. You've been a very successful governor. You say you're still focused on finding someone to beat Donald Trump. Yet it seems as though there's so little appetite in the Republican Party for some real arm twisting. Yeah. And I'm talking about sort of we're going to cut off your funding. You're not going to get any board seats. Yeah. If you don't get out of the race now, there's going to be problems. That's not happening in the Republican Party to get that one-on-one possibility.
Well, I think the Republican Party in general is behind Donald Trump, and so the apparatus is not focused on that. But there are a lot of people myself included, who other former governors and some Republican leaders who really do want to find someone to get behind, and that are weighing in, having discussions with candidates. And I think it is going to narrow. I mean, 11 people are not together running.
Well, Francis Suarez got out today. I mean,
well, there's a start. There's one. We've got to get it narrowed down to really 4 or 5 instead of 10 or 11.
All right. Sounds good. Governor, it's good to see you. Thank you. When you want to announce for Senate, come back, all right?
Okay.
You're welcome back anytime between now and then. But
hopefully I'll come back before that.
All right, you will. All right.